evening and welcome to the 2019 State of the Schools Address. My name is Beverly Redmond, or Bev Redmond as many of you know. I am wanting to say to you that this is a fabulous night. We are going to talk about a lot of great things going on in our school district. And why don't you give yourselves and our students and our families a round of applause. We have some great things in store for you, but as a matter of introduction, to get us started, that's me. As a matter of introduction, to get us started, I would like to bring to our stage and to the podium a person that has been a guiding voice, certainly in my transition into D205. She is very much integral in everything that we do. A resident of Elmhurst for 16 years. Her children are and have been going through D205. She has been a life force throughout Focus 205, leading into the referendum, to the passage of the referendum. She is also a Those Who Excel Meritorious Awardee. You may know her by her accomplishments, but mostly by her actions. Would you welcome tonight our board president, Kara Caforio.
Good evening. How's that? Better? All right. Good evening. I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome to the 2019 State of the Schools Address. We are so glad that you've taken time to invest in learning about our schools and what's happening in District 205. It is truly an honor to stand here tonight in front of our community and introduce my fellow board members who are in attendance tonight. So if they could stand up, and then I will introduce them. Okay, I have Beth Hostler, I have Courtney Troutman, I have Vice President Dr. Margaret Harrell, and former board president Jim Collins. So if you don't know what we do or who we are, the Board of Education is made up of 7 elected members who serve as volunteers for a 4-year term. The 7 of us are very different. We have varying levels of education and fields of study. Our career backgrounds are wide-ranging, including science, technology, criminal justice, finance, business consulting, change management, and education, to name a few. Our children range in ages from 4 to 27, covering most grades, almost every District 205 school, universities across the country, some seeking advanced degrees, and a few that have graduated and are off the payroll. Some of us attended District 205 schools. Some of us married graduates of District 205 schools, and some of us came here because of District 205 schools. We volunteer in other community organizations. We have been or are members of PTAs, academic boosters, music boosters, drama boosters, athletic boosters. We attend local school events, and we participate in varying activities to promote our schools and the great community we live in. We are 7 very different people with one common love and mission. We put the success of our students at the center of every decision we make at the board table. As a board, we meet at least twice a month to govern and oversee the school district. It is both challenging and rewarding work to be a part of educating our 8,000 diverse students while wisely stewarding the resources entrusted to us by a community with over 40,000 taxpayers. We work hard to meet both the demands of the day while preparing for a future that is rapidly changing. Critical to this mission is ensuring the professional growth and rewarding opportunities for our over 1,000 employees, all while balancing a $120 million budget each year and reflecting the values of our community. And before I move forward, I want to recognize that Karen Stupin, the board secretary, just walked in. One of the most important roles of the school board is to entrust the operations and administration of the school district to the superintendent. Our superintendent is Dr. David Moyer. This school year marks Dr. Moyer's 5th year as the superintendent of Elmhurst Community Unit School District 205. Dr. Moyer has 21 previous years of school administrator experience spanning 7 school districts in 2 states, including 9 prior years as superintendent, and has served as an assistant superintendent, principal, assistant principal, and athletic director. In the last 4 years, under Dr. Moyer's leadership, our school district has experienced increased opportunities for both students and staff. Our instructional practices continue to expand and improve for all students. Our principals and our teachers have expanded opportunities for professional growth. Our financial position has strengthened, with District 205 earning the highest distinction of financial recognition by the Illinois State Board of Education, a AA+ rating from Standard & Poor's, and a AA1 rating from Moody's. Our community overwhelmingly supported a $168.5 million facilities referendum in November of 2018. The growth of District 205 and the leadership of Dr. Moyer is being recognized beyond the boundaries of our community. District 205 has been recognized as chosen as one of 40 school districts across the nation accepted into the Innovation Transformation Leadership Network. District 205 was recruited and accepted into Harvard University's Scaling for Impact program. Dr. Moyer continues to nurture growth and innovation for all within District 205, and there is no doubt that we are establishing ourselves as a national leader in education. And with that, please welcome Dr. Moyer.
Well, thank you very much, Kara. Appreciate that. I'd like to start out tonight by obviously welcoming all of you to York, this beautiful facility here. Thank you for coming out tonight. And thanks to my administrative team who's here for all your support and has been a driving force in all the various different things that we've been working on these last several years. The success of District 205 is essential to the overall well-being of the community, and tonight is a chance to celebrate the outstanding accomplishments of the recent past and share with you some of the exciting opportunities that lie ahead. We're honored to have one of the most prominent education thought leaders in the country with us tonight. Eric Scheninger, Senior Fellow for the International Center for Leadership in Education, is the author of several influential education books, including the blockbuster Digital Leadership, based on his experiences transforming education as the principal at New Milford High School in New Jersey. The book influenced the way many schools across the country would approach the use of technology to support learning. Eric works daily in schools across the country. District 205 has enjoyed a relationship with him for the past 2 years. Last year, he delivered the opening faculty keynote address and worked with the York administration on the 8 keys for designing tomorrow's schools based on his book, Learning Transformed. This year, the focus will be to help the district develop a plan for leveraging technology. He's been visiting classrooms with principals and district office administrators and was at Fisher, Emerson, Field, and Hawthorne schools today. We're privileged to have Eric here tonight as our special guest, and he will kick things off by sharing a few thoughts about the future of education. Thanks, Eric.
This is going to be my shortest speech ever because I've told 2 to 3 minutes. So I got to figure out what can I say in 2 to 3 minutes. You know, change isn't coming. It's already on our doorstep. And I look around the room, some of you thought it couldn't get better than the Commodore 64. Some of you have no idea what that was. The floppy disk, the hard disk, VHS. But now as we look at where we are now, most of us in this room, actually almost all of us, were taught during the third industrial revolution. We are now well into the fourth industrial revolution. We are seeing exponential change. We are seeing disruption at scale. Think about what we have now. We have automation, advanced robotics, and I don't know about you, but I can't live without Alexa and Siri for entertainment purposes. So as we think about all this change in society, change in how we communicate, change in the workforce, what we have to ask ourselves is, how is teaching, learning, and leadership changing to prepare our kids for a world that none of us can predict? Let me speak to you as a parent really quick. My son just started 9th grade. My daughter just started 7th grade. I have no idea what jobs are going to be there for my kids. But I do know how the school system where my kids are in Texas are going to ensure them for success. And it comes down to two things: get my kids to think, and get my kids to apply their thinking in relevant, meaningful ways. If we want a future-proof learning education, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about the technology. It's about how we get our kids to think, how we get our kids to learn with technology in ways that they couldn't without it. I've had the pleasure, as Dr. Moyer said, visiting a lot of your schools. You have so much to be proud of. And my job is to give your teachers, administrators feedback to help you continue on your success. It's not about throwing out the baby with the bathwater. You know what works, but we can always work to improve. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Well, he was right about one thing. That's been his shortest speech he's ever given. So, all right, thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. So we're going to start out today just by talking a little bit about who we are. And the district has more than 8,500 students spread over 13 campuses, not including the Transition Center facility. And I'm pleased to announce that the district expects to be able to make a public statement in the near future regarding plans for a permanent home for that program. One of the things I'm proud of is the abundance of opportunities we offer our young learners, from athletics to clubs and activities. As you can see, including our exceptional fine arts program, 75% of our high school students participate in extracurricular activities. 15.5% of our families qualify for free and reduced lunch, a number that has been growing. The percentage of students who qualify for special education services has been holding fairly steady, but the percentage of English learners has been gradually increasing. Many of these students are immigrants with little or no formal education. The numbers on this slide have a significant impact on staffing and resource allocation decisions. As you can see, the majority of our funding comes from local sources. The district receives very little state or federal dollars. 89.5% of our resources come from our taxpayers. The district employs 1,160 people, and the majority of our budget, 63.6%, goes to salary and benefits. This is the reason why the district invests extensively in the growth and development of its employees. After 4 years of extensive community engagement and planning, the board in July approved a 3-year operational plan. The plan is designed so that the financial and facilities considerations support the learning and teaching priorities of the district. Resource allocation decisions are based on current research and information learned through our emerging system of annual program analysis. The plan identified 2 primary opportunities and challenges moving forward: implementation of all-day kindergarten and a need to address the increase in the amount of stress and anxiety experienced by many of our children. The district has titled this community partnership Thrive D205, a school and community wellness partnership. There is a link on the district webpage that includes the full plan, an abstract of the plan, and the plan on a page. The district's vision is all students graduate college, career, and life ready. The mission is to accelerate learning for all students. 4 belief statements support this mission and reflect several values, such as success for all students, a focus on growth, and a future-focused approach. Schools are notorious for living in the past, or what Jamie Vollmer terms nostalgia, an hallucinogenic cocktail of nostalgia and amnesia that results in a past that never was. Most schools take a forward-focused approach to improvement. So you'll see those types of standard characteristics in that left-hand column there. And what tends to happen is people focus on continuous improvement, meaning that they try to take what they currently do and tweak it a little bit and make it just a little bit better the next year. And what they do then is perfect best practices that currently exist, supported by research usually. But what they're doing really at the same time is perfecting the 20th century school. The school that Eric talked about served people that like me that graduated in 1984. And it's not 1984 anymore. In fact, we're 20% into the 21st century. So when you take that approach, you exploit what you already do well, but you also spend a lot of your time catching up. So what we're trying to do is be a future-focused school and balance continuous improvement with a simultaneous focus on innovation. And those characteristics you see, I'll go this way, on the right-hand column over here, which I think is working over there. And so this is where innovation comes into play. And what you do here is you try to decide where you want to go and you develop the plan to get there. And we talk about that in terms of next practices. And this is where we try to look into the future and prepare students for the future, not the past. And so we have to explore and try new things. And in this system, we learn by doing, we move to action, and when we find what works, we scale that until that becomes the new norm, and then the cycle of continuous improvement and innovation continue to play together off each other pretty much forever. Now, the district believes that to be life-ready, children need to be proficient in the 6 C's of creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, communication, character, and citizenship. This involves a shift from content being the driver of curriculum to a focus on skills. As Dr. Bill Daggett, founder and chairman of the International Center for Leadership in Education, likes to say, the #1 emerging field in the country is data analytics. Is that math or is that English? And do you have a data analytics department chair at your high school? If you look at the top 20 or the top 10 job skills projected for 2022, as cited by the World Economic Forum in the 2018 Future of Jobs report, you'll see that these skills are all based on those 6 C's types of concepts. You see collaboration in there, you see critical thinking in there, and you see things about leadership, and you see things about social influence and emotional intelligence, problem solving. All of these things, none of these things are dates from some type of historical thing that people can now look up on a phone. So what we're trying to do is prepare kids for the jobs that are going to exist when they leave our system. And that's a different way of thinking than most of us experience school. And the real question would be, if that's what they're projecting in 2022, what will those skills be in 2032 when today's kindergarten students graduate from high school? And that's the challenge that we face in schools, and that's why we're trying to design our learning environments to reflect more of a skills-based approach and less of a content-driven approach. One of the opportunities that became successful with the passage of a $168.5 million referendum last November is the addition of all-day kindergarten. Beginning with the 2021 school year, an all-day kindergarten option will be available for families on a space-available basis. Because not all schools will have the space to accommodate all interested families until a construction project is complete, a lottery system will be in place. Kindergarten registration will be online and run from October 11th to October 25th. The notification process will be completed prior to spring break. This chart, which we have an all-day kindergarten link to our website, shows the schools that have space for full implementation beginning next year. So for example, Edison has the space, and then the other schools that have limited space. And so what we'll do is we'll give people an opportunity to get into the spaces at their home schools, and when those fill, then there'll be a secondary lottery for any remaining spaces across the district. And the schools you see here that are blacked out are schools that are either going to be rebuilt or going to be affected by the construction. And so during the years of the lottery, while the lottery is in place, families from those schools will have preference for open district, for available district spots. Again, there's more information on that on the webpage. Schools across the country are experiencing an alarming increase in the number of students experiencing high levels of stress and anxiety. A challenge for District 205 will be to confront this issue and develop strategies to address the problem. At York High School last year, 46 students were hospitalized, 10 students were placed directly in a specialized program to avoid hospitalization, and another 37 were referred for initial 504 evaluations due to social emotional concerns. A Thrive D205 committee comprised of board members, parents, community members, and educators has been established to coordinate the work to strengthen our multi-tiered systems of support, curriculum and student services work, and community engagement efforts. The district wants to move from intervention and treatment to prevention, and it believes strongly that this must be a collaborative effort with the community if we're going to successfully reduce the number of students struggling with behavioral health issues. The slide that you see shows some national statistics which are staggering. I'd like to take this chance to thank our community partners shown here who have stepped up in support of this project. And also, please note these upcoming events. On September 23rd, with Julie Lithcott-Hames, author of the book How to Raise an Adult, is how we're going to start, and that's going to kind of launch a series of community engagement efforts, work with student involvement, focus groups, surveys, et cetera, throughout the year to ultimately look at some steps that we can implement here in the district to start to move the needle in the opposite direction. District 205 has grown 6.3% over the past 10 years and is projected to continue to grow. As you can see, it is the only district among its traditional comparison districts that has experienced growth during this time. The district is currently home to 8,517 students and is projected to grow to 8,713 students over the next 5 years. Community engagement indicated a desire to address aging infrastructure, and the community stepped up to pass a $168.5 million referendum on November 6, 2018. Thank you, community, for your continued support of District 205. The Master Facilities Plan is part of the operational plan and includes the construction of 2 new schools, Lincoln and Field, improved safety and security features at all campuses, future-ready learning spaces at all district sites, and as I stated earlier, the space for AllDay Kindergarten. The district recently issued $60 million of general obligation bonds to support phase 1 of the work. Work at Bryan and Edison will begin late this spring. These projects are scheduled first so that there will be space to house students from Lincoln during construction of the new school. Additional work includes entrances at Sandburg, Churchville, Fisher, Jackson, and Jefferson. A formal presentation is scheduled for tomorrow night's board meeting. There is community meeting scheduled for Bryan on September 30th and Edison on October 1st. Both of those begin at 6 p.m. Bid packages will be developed for later this fall. Tonight, we get to see a sneak preview of tomorrow evening's presentation. And I want to thank Craig Siepka and Wendy Watt from White & Company who came out here tonight as well. So this slide shows the floor plan for Edison. And the red line is the divider. I know how to do this, Craig. I've heard you do this a lot, so I think I got it. It is the divider that shows the difference between the existing building and the addition. And so what you have here is, this is Fair Avenue. And the major changes would be to move the office from the back of the building there to have a very distinguished and welcoming front of the building. And then also, as will be the case with all of our schools, have a safe and secure entrance where people have to go through 3 checkpoints to get into the building. And then another second prominent feature of the new building is the media center. The building opens up into the media center, which we want to be the lifeblood of the building, and that's going to be central to all of the designs of all of the buildings moving forward. So you see there's an open concept. I'll move over here a little bit. There's an open concept where the media center is a welcoming, I don't know why this thing only works over there. It's a welcoming feature that opens up to all the various different pieces of the building and attracts and invites students and draws students in. And is also the central hub of makerspace and other creative types of programming like the art room and music, all in the center of the building. So people walk in and you've got a little bit of that wow factor, but you also have the practicality of the spaces designed for the 6C future-ready, future-focused types of concepts. And then you see the additional classroom space. Edison was landlocked, or I mean most of our sites are landlocked. Edison was not. And so this is the site that was chosen to expand along with some minor boundary changes to accommodate the additional space we need in the district for AllDay Kindergarten. And then it will also serve to house students from Lincoln and Field during the transition when those buildings are raised and then rebuilt. And there'll be various different features of these buildings that you'll be able to learn about at the community presentations, see online after we post tomorrow night's board meeting. But you have collaborative spaces, you have little nooks where students are able to congregate for small group work, but you also have hallway spaces and other different types of things where students can spill out, and we no longer have this confined type of concept, but we have teachers working together on intervention groups or acceleration groups or other things like that with various different groups of students. So that gives you a little bit of an idea, and this is a rendering of the outside of the building. So this is that new front entrance over here that I talked about, and you can see that the architects have done a really nice job not only trying to modernize the look, but also trying to have it blend in to the existing building and into the features of the surrounding neighborhood. And then this is another view as the kindergarten wing spreads around toward the back where the new playground would be. You see that looking back at the building that way. So those are just a couple little glimpses of some of the things that are on the horizon in the near future that we are all very excited about. And then here we have Brian, and with Brian's going to be done in multiple phases. Like all of our buildings, we know that the community indicated that safety and security were a primary concern. And Brian's current entrance is not the way you would design a new building, obviously, as the office is tucked back into that hallway. So what the renovations are going to do in the first phase is extend this office out to where we again have the checkpoints going into the building, but we bring the office to the front of the building. You can see the principal's offices have sight line of traffic. And then this area over here, which we don't have a lot of, you don't see a lot in this view, but you'll see in other pictures after the full presentation is posted, is a proposed kind of plaza greeting area for students as they wait for their parents, or if people want to eat lunch out there, or if teachers want to take students out there for classes or whatever. And so it's going to be a very attractive, welcoming entrance in the building. That's in addition to the safety and security, we want all of our buildings to have kind of a hallmark thing that says welcome and has some distinguishing features that draw people in so they know how to get into the building, they know where they're going, and it's easily accessible. I'm going to talk a little bit about innovation, and then I'm going to share with you some examples of some really outstanding things that are going on in our schools. Only the best part of it is it's the people that are doing the work that are going to share the examples, and I won't be talking anymore. But I get to talk for a couple more slides. So, we in District 205 strive to be a national leader in future-ready learning, and the future-focused approach includes a commitment to cultivating a culture of innovation. The district has adopted a common definition of innovation from district management group's work, and its primary focus will be developing and expanding interdisciplinary learning opportunities for students, and then using the concepts of depth, spread, and shift to scale the work. District 205 was one of approximately 20 districts from across the country selected to participate in the inaugural Innovation and Transformational Leadership Network. It's a joint effort from the American Association of School Administrators and the Successful Practices Network. This team established a focus on interdisciplinary learning. 205 was also accepted in the Harvard University Scaling for Impact program, in which it learned a process for scaling the work. And you can see the theory of social impact that we developed when we were there. The reason the teams focused on interdisciplinary learning can best be explained by looking at the ICLE's, that's the International Center's Rigor and Relevance Framework. The framework has been a primary tool for the district to develop a consistent approach to instruction and curriculum since it sent its first team to the Model Schools Conference in June of 2016. In most schools, assessment and instruction unfortunately reside primarily in Quadrant A, the lowest level of both rigor and relevance. In this model, to get to Quad D learning, the highest combination of rigor and relevance, and to ensure life-ready graduates, an interdisciplinary approach that integrates the 6 C's and social-emotional learning is necessary. And now we get to see it come to life. Christine Trendle, Jackson Elementary School principal, and her team will share information about the NORA project in which students are immersed in the 6 C's. Thank you.
I'm Christine Trundle. I'm the principal of Jackson Elementary School, and that moves. And it is my absolute honor to share a little bit about our experience with the NORA project with you tonight. It's really because of these dedicated educators behind me that this project came to life. So I'd like to introduce them to you, and they are going to share all about our experience and continued plans. So not here tonight was Mrs. Robin Brooks, a 4th grade teacher at Jackson, Mrs. Sandy Laskowitz, who is a 4th grade teacher, Miss Annie Quabaman, a 4th grade teacher, Allie Germanos, who now teaches 5th grade, and Dottie Gendris, who is our primary instructional teacher.
Okay, so a little bit about what the NORA project is. It's an experiential social emotional learning curriculum that really focuses on teaching empathy and kindness. It sparks friendships, it is hands-on and authentic, and it raises awareness about inclusion and the power of friendship for all, regardless of their abilities.
I asked who's next, it's me. The NORA project is not something that is outside of our curricular scope. All of the things that we do in the NORA project incorporate the 6 C's. Character by developing empathy, kindness, and friendship, understanding that nobody is actually normal, that we are all our own kind of normal. It develops citizenship because kids feel proud of where they come from. Collaboration happens every single time we're planning for a NORA visit, where the 4th graders get together in their teams and try to, they succeed in organizing a visit that is accessible and fun and creative and original, and they do an amazing job with that. Communication is also valid. I mean, kids are communicating constantly, not only with each other, but with their NORA friends, with their NORA friends' families and siblings and friends in their grade levels. The kids were so creative in developing these NORA visits. They came up with amazing, very, so much fun kinds of activities for them to do with their NORA friends. And the critical thinking came in constantly, where they had to really think about, is this appropriate? Can my NORA friend do this? And if not, even if it's a really good idea, how can we adapt it to make sure that they still have the fun that they need? It was a great experience.
So to jumpstart the curriculum last year, once we talked about what is the NORA project, our classes each came up with mission statements that we were to focus on and refer back to throughout our visits and when we implemented the program. You'll see the data that reflects following through with our mission statements in a couple of slides, and we'll talk about how we will implement it this year as well.
So the current 5th graders who went through the NORA project last year as 4th graders, they actually made a video that explained how impactful this experience was for them. So hopefully after watching, you understand how meaningful this really was for our students.
My NORA friend has helped me to open my eyes to see many things, like love, empathy, and kindness. He has helped me see the world in a very unique and different way.
My NORA friend has showed me kindness and that there is no normal. Everyone is special, unique in their own way.
From the NORA project, I learned that everyone is different, and even though our NORA friends might be a little different from us, we are also different from every other person in the world.
The NORA project made me see things in a different way. For example, my NORA friend changed my heart. She made me feel marvelous inside. Also, I now listen from the heart and not from the look of the person.
Being with my NORA friend made me feel a lot of emotions, but seeing how happy she was when we played with her changed my heart.
My NORA friend impacted my life because he changed the way I see people. Now I never judge a book by its cover.
Some people tend to bully other people with disabilities and make them feel upset.
And we are here to help people be kind and respectful to people with disabilities.
The NORA project affects me because I have a brother that is in a wheelchair and he has autism, and it makes me feel like it's the NORA project all over again.
The NORA project really left a footprint on my heart. It taught me that anything was possible, and if you work hard, you can do great things. It taught us that we were more similar than different. So now you know that to us, the NORA project was not just a project, it was a life learning experience. The NORA project has also taught us that nothing is impossible in life. So your school should do the NORA project too.
Okay. 3 times a year, as part of the project, the students take a survey, beginning of the program, before they meet their NORA friends, and at the end of the program. And I'm sharing a couple of data pieces with you. One data point shows that at the end of the program, 71% of Jackson 4th graders felt that caring for others was one of the most important things to have in life. And then another amazing data point, as you can see, we went up 109% in the area where students felt that they have things in common with people with disabilities. And finally, as well, another significant increase was in the Jackson 4th graders being willing to want to play with their friends with disabilities.
So the data is really outstanding, and in order to continue seeing these growths for 2019-2020, our 5th graders are maintaining their friendships with their NORA friends, which was the original purpose of the program. This is a picture from a group of students that arranged a play day outside of school so that they can still remain in contact with their Nora friend. In 4th grade, we're continuing to implement the curriculum again. And in 1st and 3rd grade, we are now implementing empathy lessons into the literacy curriculum. So it's been a great year.
All right, thank you. The focus of our innovation work, as I said, is interdisciplinary learning. And we have some pilot teams, a 2nd grade team at Field and an 8th grade team at Sandburg, who are working on addressing some of the barriers that exist, like flexibility of time, covering content area standards that are being reported on to the state or that students are being tested on, and trying to figure out how to sort through these types of things so that we can begin over time to offer more and more of these experiences to our students at every grade level. So at this point, I'd like to introduce to you Frank Tallman, 8th grade team leader at Sandburg Middle School, who will share information with you about what they're going to be doing on their team this year with their interdisciplinary learning project.
Good evening. I would like to begin by introducing my team, who, as you can see, none of which could make it tonight, but if they did, would fill the stage. I have our core teachers, Kelly Harkins, who is out on maternity leave, so Jenny Posen has been filling in for her this year. Natalie Hidalgo, the math teacher for us. Nancy Wallace, our science teacher. Then we have Ben Ladua and Liz Beverly, who are our instructional coaches, along with Maureen Schroeder, our special ed instructional coach. Christy Gumbach, our 8th grade counselor. Ruth Bauhe, the social worker. Susan Stevenson, our librarian, and Meg Collins, our resource teacher for special ed. So we have a very large group of people that have been working on this since September. So what we've been doing has had a 3-pronged approach to create this pilot for us. First of all, we recognize that we have to keep our content area classes in place. Kids need their basic learning in all these areas to be able to apply them in real world problems outside of which. So we do still have our English, science, social studies, and math classes. But outside of that, we have been focusing on infusing social emotional learning and behavioral health into all areas of the class exposure for the kids, in classes, out of classes, in small groups, individually. So we're really trying to support them in ways to make them feel healthier and safer during their school day. Second, we wanted to include a competency-based instructional model where we are meeting the kids where they are, as opposed to them coming in class and trying to catch up or figure out where our class is there. And with that, what we're doing is flexing our schedule to allow small group work pulled by the teacher to build on skills that need to be increased or strengthened, to extend those students that already have a strong skill base, to let them go beyond the standards or the outcomes that we're looking for in the class. And then we also want to use some of that flexible time to also build community in our learning environment as well. And then the last thing we're working with is a design thinking and inquiry-based project where students are taking on the theme of Elmhurst 2030. And they're going to be working in groups of 3 or 4 to look into problems that are going to exist in Elmhurst over the next 10 years and apply their classroom skills and learning into a real-world solution to a real-world problem that is in that Quad D area that Dr. Moyer talked about of unintended or unanticipated circumstances, unforeseen problems, and no real right answer, but coming up with the best solution that they can. So we'll be working on that with them as well. For the students, we looked for 3 specific outcomes, and we're measuring these in a number of different ways, qualitative and quantitatively. The I can be a good problem solver and critical thinker is going to come out through the project work that they're doing in Elmhurst 2030. I can be a good communicator and collaborator as part of our SEL focus, building community, but also we'll be seeing that in that small group work through some surveys through the students and observations and work from the teachers in the classroom. And then lastly, I can be engaged and excited about learning. We want kids to be excited about coming to school again. In grade school, they love going to school. By the time they get to 8th grade, you get that slow walk to the bus, and we're hoping that maybe they're not quite being dragged as much as they used to be. So we're working hard to get kids to really enjoy coming to school again. So what we've done thus far is we just began. We've been working on this since last September in a planning phase. So now we're at the point where the kids are actually starting to work. We've flexed the schedule and started working on some of the SEL skills with those students. And we've also had them choose what we are calling silos. When you're getting kids to go out and solve problems in Elmhurst 2030, you got to give them some sort of framework in which to work. And so we created large areas to think of like that we're calling silos. I don't know how we did it, but for some reason that's what we came up with. And it's things like environment. What are problems in our environment? Government, community, health and wellness, arts and culture. And inside of those areas, they find what they're interested in, and then they get together with like-minded students, come up with some potential problems, and then start to work on solving those problems. And we're trying to get them to reach out to actual organizations, companies, and different people in the real world to mentor and to actually maybe talk to them and propose some of the solutions that they've come up with. We began investigating those this week, so everything has just basically started. So I don't have a lot of data and charts. The graphs you guys had look great. We don't have any of that yet. We're getting there. But we've started to really put this stuff into motion to see how it goes. And as you can see, the kids are collaborating and working together. We're trying to use that technology piece a lot, and it's really hard to see. It looks a lot better on my laptop than on here, but there's a list of some problems that the students have come up with. And they're coming up with things like, there's teenagers hanging out in downtown Elmhurst often get in trouble for loitering, and they don't have a place to go. So they're going to try to solve a problem for, like, what do we do with teenagers in Elmhurst to give them a place to go to be constructive and happy without getting in the way? What can we do for low-income families to help to provide opportunities for them to succeed in our community? One group is looking at all the shopping carts that get left all over town from the Jewel and what they can do to maybe make sure that doesn't happen. So this is all self-selected by the students, driven by the students, and we're just there to facilitate. So that's really where we are right now. And as we go forward, we're going to be doing a lot of the competency-based instruction because we now have the data, we know where they're starting on their skills, and we can start flexing that time and getting them into different classroom areas to get their skills to be brought up. So next year, I'll maybe have more information for you. Thank you.
Very excited about the work of our innovation teams and watching the evolution of this project over the past 6 or 8 months has been really interesting, and I know they're excited to get it going. Another example that we want to share with you tonight, this time at the high school grade level. The high school has been working on a variety of things, like getting blended learning off the ground, and has started work with interdisciplinary learning going back over a year now. But one of the things that we want to highlight this tonight for you is our new Business Incubator program, which is going to be a very special program in this district, and we hope to expand that to the middle and elementary grade levels also over time. So I'm going to introduce Erin DeLuga, our high school principal, who will share some information with you about that. Oh, I'll shake your hand too.
Thank you, Dr. Moyer. I'm so excited to show the picture of our new business incubator and the students working in it. It's housed right up there if you get a chance to swing by it, maybe not tonight, but when you're here in the building. This opportunity gives a 21st century learning opportunity to our students. It capitalizes on college, career, and life readiness by providing students a pathway in business. And it does give students the ability to create a product and work with coaches and mentors from our community and outside of our community, meeting the needs of all of our students and piquing their interests by helping them grow. So it's definitely the epitome of innovation. If you haven't seen Shark Tank, the business incubator model is very much like the program Shark Tank. So I just want to take a moment to thank Dr. Moyer and the board for your support to get this here. I'm so excited. And if anyone out there is interested in the community to become a volunteer coach or mentor in our program, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Dr. Grenz, Assistant Superintendent. Thank you.
One of the neat things about the program is they work with adult mentors who help coach them through the process. And similar to what Frank was talking about, it's kind of a design thinking kind of approach, and they're actually have members of our business community that they pitch their product to, and so it should be interesting to get this off the ground. Our kids are excited about it, and the space at the high school is fabulous. Really did a nice job redesigning that space for the program. So, celebrations and accomplishments. You know, there's so much to celebrate in District 205 that what you heard previously and what you're about to see is just a sampling to give you a glimpse into the incredible things that go on every day in our classrooms, thanks to the hard work of our teachers and all of our school employees. And the list was designed to give you a sampling of a wide variety of areas. And I had talked about 75% of our high school students being involved in an extracurricular activity. So there's professional accomplishments listed, there's academic accomplishments, there's things related to the fine arts and other areas of participation. But before I show you the list, I want to introduce to you a very special person. Sandberg creative tech teacher Jen Lieben is here with us tonight, and Jen is a finalist for Teacher of the Year in the state of Illinois. So please join me in expressing my congratulations and gratitude for her incredible work. So at the district level, we're very proud that our community is willing to support our district and continue to support our district with such care and pride. And we have we've been very fiscally responsible with the taxpayer dollar. We have taken on some prominence in state and national circles in terms of the work that we're getting off the ground here. The students, as you all know, are fabulous. You see here, you saw the Jackson example, but students at all of our schools, and these again are just some select random examples, are doing great things, and they're not all just in the classroom, and that's what's so exciting about our students and how special they are. From environmental causes to other various different types of involvement and activities. And then you see more examples of things, again, ranging the spectrum of coding to the music that we're so proud of in our district, and other various different types of things at the upper grade levels. And again, one of the things I'm proud of is that, you know, I know cross country is a big deal. Obviously, everybody in Elmhurst knows cross country is a big deal. But we have tons of opportunities for our students to participate in their passion, and they do well, and they do well all over the country, and it's very impressive. And of course, academically, we have students that are as strong as anybody in the country every year, and whether that's national merit, AP scholars, you name it, they do exceptionally well. So what I'd like to do is end by bringing this to life a little bit and letting you hopefully experience what this looks like and feels like in our schools every single day.
There is no language barrier, and they're able to communicate and make those friendships that if they weren't in this program, they might have not had the opportunities to make.
And I think the biggest benefit of a dual language program is how they help each other. They learn more from each other than they do from me.
I am learning.
You're learning. And how many languages?
Dos.
¿Por qué piensas que es muy importante aprender español y inglés?
Para tener más amigos.
Para tener más amigos y para poder hablar
con ellos, sí.
Muy bien. ¿Y te gusta hablar con tus amigos en inglés y en español?
Sí. So we're making like foot braces, and we have to make it so you can't stand on your toes for people that have problems with their muscles. So that's fun, and my sister's doing it too, so I can talk about it with her at home.
It's hands-on, it's involved, it's going to be loud, it's going to be messy, and that's what we want to see. Kids working in groups, collaborating, working on their communication skills, and really developing that problem-solving ability.
Thank you for saying yes to our schools. Thank you for saying yes.
Thank you from Sandburg Middle School.
Thank you for your vote.
Thank you for your vote.
1960s. Class of the 70s.
What the Neuro Project is, it's to show that just because you have something, just because you have like a diagnosis like autism, doesn't mean that you're different than other people.
And it teaches you like there's no normal because everybody's different in their own unique way.
I've learned that it doesn't matter who you are on the outside, it matters what you are on the inside.
When we started planning the unit and we were thinking about the 6 C's, student collaboration was kind of at the forefront, I think, of what we felt was most important to be focusing on. So each of the students in 2nd grade were able to choose which biome they were most interested in studying. And then from there we made student groups, and we made groups with all 2nd graders from different classes. So the students had opportunities to collaborate and work with students that weren't just in their homeroom.
My favorite part was probably collaborating with my group, because everyone really we would share ideas and we would try to we would make it so we could put it in our community.
The thing that we want more, the measures for success for the students will be beyond learning. We're in a good position where the kids of Elmhurst are high-level students, really intelligent, good kids. But we want to make sure that they get transferable, adaptable skills that they can take to different places. We want them to feel safe and secure and happy. And we want them to be engaged and enjoy what they're doing. And with the data of the engagement and the safe and secure part and that student choice, adaptable skills, we're hoping to see them really flourish. Bring some of those kids that are good students into just flying high students.
So finally, just once again, thank you for coming out tonight. Thanks to my team. Thank you for your support of our work on behalf of our community's children. And I hope that for those of you that are parents here, that your children have the best year of their life. And for those of you who have students who are not seniors in high school, that every year after that they're here is even better than this one. So thank you very much.
We love coming to the fire station. We've come for the last few years, and they have all the trucks out, the firefighters are out so that you can ask questions, and it's just fascinating. And I think it's really educational too.
There's an actual sliding fire pole that we have. A technical rescue team simulation of a high-angle rescue. And we have inside, we have various activities and educational handouts, and we have an inflated bouncy house for the young kids, although I'm tempted to take my shoes off and go in there myself. And we have our fire apparatus and squad cars that are here for hands-on and that the kids and the adults can go through.
It's always nice, exciting, fun time. Most people don't get to see something like this up close, so we like to show it off. It's kind of a way for the public to come and see the fire station, see what the firefighters do, take a tour of the firehouse, and then we have a bunch of activities.
Hello, Elmhurst. I'm your city clerk, Patty Spencer, and I'm here today with Tim from Republic Services, our contracted refuge and recycle provider. I have recycling items here, and Tim is going to help me go through them to see if I can or cannot recycle them. Tim, you want to get started?
Absolutely, Patty. Thank you very much. First of all, we've got in our curbside bins, we have fiber and paper. Flattened corrugated cardboard, containers, magazines, newspaper, unwanted mail, envelopes. Windowed envelopes are acceptable. You don't have to cut out the window envelope. Newspaper's fine. We have metal containers, aluminum cans, pop cans. What we strongly suggest is that you rinse those cans or containers out, because if there's material left inside, it would get spilled onto the newspaper and then the newspaper's contaminated. Plastic containers, a number of plastic containers, Tide bottles, milk jugs, soda bottles, again, all rinsed out, caps on. If the caps are off and just loose in the bin, they're gonna get thrown in the trash as they go through the recycling line. Oil containers, that contains motor oil, they would not be recyclable simply because you're not gonna get the oil clean out of that actual container. Glass bottles and jars, as long as there was food items or soda in them, that's fine. Well, again, lids on. A number of items cannot be recycled. Clothing, for example. There is a totally different program for clothing, but clothing is not in our recycling program. Light bulbs, batteries, smoke detectors. There are different ways to get rid of those items. Various drop-offs for the smoke detectors throughout the city. Please look at the city's website. Electronics, TVs, computers, phones. They can all be recycled, but not in the curbside program. Jugs like orange juice containers, again, rinse those out, put the caps on. They can be recycled. Plastic bags, drop them off at the grocery store. Don't put them in the curbside bin. They would just cause a lot of problems at our recycling center. And again, they are not recycled in the curbside program, but the grocery store goes through a large volume. They can do it. Yard waste containers or yard waste. Right now, leaves, grass clippings, trees, branches, that's in a whole different, separate collection, yard waste collection. Banana peels, at this point in time, cannot be in that program. Though it's organic, just haven't rolled it out yet to residents of Elmhurst. Then you have wood, shingles, construction debris. There is a construction demolition recycling program, but it's not in the curbside program whatsoever. Copper piping, that type of thing. Carpeting, we certainly want to look at that being rolled up no more than 4-foot lengths, but tied up so it's easier for the driver to collect, no more than 50 pounds, and it would be picked up as trash. Paint cans have to be emptied and put in the trash container. Little trick, get some kitty litter, put it in the paint can, it'll dry out, and it won't cause a mess when we're compacting it in the truck. I think that's just about everything we've covered, Patty.
Well, thank you, Tim. So there you have it. For any questions, please contact the City Public Works Department, 630-530-3020, and Republic Services at 708-345-7050. 2 blue bins, 1 blue planet. Let's do our part, Elmhurst.